you make of what Kyrie said about collectively coaching the Nets, and also that KD is the first time he has ever had someone on his team that he felt he could pass the ball to in the clutch, because before that, he was the best clutch option on every team he had played on?
I think every once in a while he just says stuff for attention. Just the only difference, and a lot of people in the world do that, the only difference is he's a superstar. So when he says stuff, obviously it's going to make headlines, whether he was taking a direct shot at LeBron or not. I mean, only he knows that. But, you know, he does this every once in a while, and everyone goes crazy with it. And we got to kind of take him by his word. You know, was he taking a shot? I don't know. It seemed low-key like he was, but, hey, that's what Kyrie does.
Yeah, look, my thing is this. Matt, you host a podcast. I host a podcast. And a lot of times when we get people on our podcast, we say this: hey, talk freely. We're going to talk it out. We're going to just going to say whatever. And then we go back and I'm going to edit out anything. I've had Kyrie on my podcast multiple times. And then like later that day, I'm like, hey, I took out that part and I took out that part just because we don't want any drama. The issue with this is you went on Kevin Durant's podcast and you were saying these things. So we in the media are not creating the clickbait.
Right.
Like you and Kevin Durant are creating the
Right.
clickbait. That's the only issue with that. And like, I've protected guests. I'm pretty sure, Matt, you have protected guests. Like, hey, we're going to talk for an hour and a half. Anything that might be a little too off center, we're going to take out. And then we just want people to focus on the content. And so you have to be able to have someone look at this. And we've all often offered the content, like, here, listen to this, make sure everything is cool before we put this out. So that's my only issue, is that a lot of times you protect guests, but he can't say that this is just clickbait when he's creating the content that is allowing for the clickbait, then coming on is like, oh, you guys are just in the clickbait world. That's the only part where it's hard for me to defend
And he knows what he's doing. He absolutely knows what he's doing.
He's way too intelligent.
Too smart for this.
Way too intelligent.
And also, I think that there's a middle ground here, too, right, guys? That when he said, oh, I wasn't taking a shot, if I wanted to take a shot at LeBron, I would have named him. Of course, he didn't name him there, but if I want to take a shot at someone, I would have named him. There is a difference between, hey, I'm going out and taking shots at LeBron and all of that, and then the other end of the spectrum of being respectful of your former teammates by saying, there's no context for this, by saying on the podcast, hey, there has never before been a better option in the clutch than me. That's a statement in and of itself. There's no context you need around that.
And that's fine. That's
Right.
100% fine.
I'm saying
I'm okay with you believing that you are the best guy.
But it is what it is. That I take issue with the whole, like, I feel like out of context is sort of the throwaway line when someone says something that then they realize doesn't land as successfully as they might have liked it to.
Yeah.
There is not extra context around that. He said the thing. He said all of it.
Rach,
it just depends on how
let me settle this right now. If LeBron James were to get up on a podium today and say that Anthony Davis is the best teammate I've ever had, like, I don't want to say taking shots, but the first people they're going to talk about is D-Wade and Kyrie and Chris Bosh and Kevin Love. Those are the guys that are going to be like, hey, this is what he said, and it's going to make news. So it's not just like we're like looking to get on Kyrie, but Kyrie, if Bron were to say that, everyone, if he was like, oh, this is the best teammate I've ever had, he's the best player I've ever played with, the first thing they would do is like, Kai, like, you hear this, or they would go to D-Wade, like, yo, D-Wade had a finals MVP before this. So all of a sudden, that's not clickbait. That's just like putting stuff out there that people are going to address with the right amount of attention.
If one of you got up here and said, this kid is my favorite son, as opposed to the other kids.
I've done that often.
I'm just saying.
No, like I said, I have no issue with what Kyrie feeling that he's the best option in the clutch, because he is a clutch player. KD is a clutch player. I think the fact that he brought KD into the equation, knowing that he's played with LeBron James in the past, like I said, he knew what he was doing when he said that.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.